Hey, I want to thank you again for joining me for this I Encourage podcast. Man, friends, I am really fired up about what we've been talking about. And I've been trying to keep the podcast 15, 20 minutes or somewhere around there. I don't want it to be too long. I want you to take what I'm sharing with you, and I want you to be able to apply it to your life. And let me say, in the future, we're going to be adding some things to the podcast, some things you can possibly download, some things where you can take some notes, some devotionals, some things that will encourage you. And we'll have that coming to you in the future. But I want to thank you again for joining me. Man, I really love this topic of talking about purpose and connecting it with the way you think about your attitude about life. And I want you to be encouraged. If you're discouraged today, which, man, if you're breathing, there's an opportunity for you to be discouraged. But let me say this, if you're breathing, there's also an opportunity for you to be encouraged. And I want you to be encouraged. And I believe that's part of my purpose in life, to help you be encouraged. And did you know, just to be really practical with you and be truthful with you, did you know for me to encourage you, I've got to be encouraged? So that tells me that I need to be in places, and first of all, I think I need to be encouraging myself, but I also believe that I need to have people in my life that encourage me, because how can I encourage you if I'm not encouraged? And you can't give away what you don't have yourself. I mean, I can be asking you all day long for $1 million, but if you don't have $1 million to give, I mean, you can't give that. That's very obvious, very simple, very plain, but it's the same thing with being, wanting to encourage others or whatever you want to do to serve other people in life. And I just believe part of what I'm called to do is to encourage others, to share something, a nugget that helps lift your head, that helps, maybe, if I can say it this way, I know it's an old saying, put a pep in your step, to give you a reason for living, and give you a reason for waking up in the morning, and give you a reason for existing on this planet, not just barely getting by, but to thrive. And so thanks for joining me, man. It's great to have you for the I Encourage podcast. And last week we talked about the way you see things is how you do things. I really didn't get as far as I wanted to. Again, I wanted to keep it a bit short. But, it's about kind of your reality. It's basically, I'm wearing these glasses, and you can't tell it, but they're actually trifocals. And I have to get used to these trifocals, but these are the lens that I see people through, and I see objects through now. And your perception and how you, the opinions that you've formed, and, the pattern of thinking that you have, it really is the lens that you see life through. And that lens is so often formed by our past experiences, whether they're good or they're bad. Words that people have spoken to us, over us, or, difficulties that we've went through, successes, failures in life. And that has formed a picture in our mind of our life, of how we see life. And, I had read this recently, and it's really good. And it's, and what it says here is perception over reality. It says, people do not see the world as it is, but rather as they are. Wow. Man, that right there is the truth. So many times we don't see the world as it really is, but it's as we are, how we see things. And you can take two different people and give them the same circumstance, the same situation, and they will look at it from different perspectives. And those perspectives have been formed from their past experiences and the way they've lived life in the past so often. So what my encouragement is for you today is that, man, if you've been through some struggles in life, hey, learn from those struggles. Keep moving forward. If you've had negative words maybe said to you, over you. It could be from somebody you respected. It could be from a parent, someone else in a place of authority. It could have been said from a church member or from a pastor or someone you honored, someone you respected, and it really hurt you. It just cut right to the heart. And you've allowed those words to form the way you see yourself. My friend, let me just help you. That can change. Today, it can change. And you do not have to allow your past experiences, to form your identity and how you see yourself. You know, it's kind of that mirror effect. You look in the mirror and this is what you see. Well, did you know we all have a mirror in our mind? And that mirror is how we're living life. The way you see things is the way you do things. And, as a pastor, it's kind of the circles that I run in. And I've heard a lot of pastors say before, well, you can't go there and do a work for God or build a church or reach the people there. They're just too far gone. But then you can take somebody else that has a totally different perspective, and they can go into that place that one person said, oh, no way. You mean you can't reach the people there? You can't do a work for God? You can't build a church there? Those people are beyond reach. But you can take some person that really, their perspective is totally different and say, man, those people right there in that place, they have value. God created them. God loves them. They're here for a purpose. I believe they can be reached. And that person can go into that people group, if I can say it that way, and they can love those people, they can reach those people, and they can see light come into the darkness, and there can be transformation, all because there was one person that said, you know what, it can happen, while there was another person over here that, hey, let me just stop and say it this way too. Both of those people could have had the same training. They could have went to the same Bible school. I mean, they read the same Bible, but yet they have two different perspectives on life. And one of them's like, it can never happen there. Well, did you know what? For that person, it will never happen. But for that other person, it's like, yes, I believe I can go and do that. I believe that it's possible for me to go and reach those people. And they can bring transformation into that group of people. When there was another person that's like looking at it going, can never happen. Wow. And that's really a very simple example of how you see things is how you do things. Right now, in the church that I pastor, we're involved in a renovation at a facility that was actually given to us. And on the tax rolls, we haven't had an appraiser go out there ourselves, but on the tax rolls for the city, it appraised for like $1.6 million. There's 3 buildings on the piece of property, and it was just given to us. A former church that had shut down just gifted that facility to us, and it needs some renovation. It's an older building, and for us to be able to meet the needs of our people today, culture today, and we're having to renovate the building some, and it's going to cost quite a bit of money to do that. And, we could have looked at that as a church and like, no way can we do that. But listen, friends, I believe with all of my heart, we're going to do that. And it's also in a part of town that if we were planning a church, if you were going and you went to, and you were being trained how you can plant a church, it probably would not be the ideal location for someone to go into plant a church, a brand new church. But we believe that God's called us to that area of town. There's a lot of traffic there. We believe God's doing some things in that region and in that part of that side of town. And we believe God's calling us there. And hey, I just want you to know, it's not a maybe. It's not we're going to try. We are going to bring the light of the good news of Jesus Christ to the people in that part of town, into that area, into this whole city, and into this whole region from that area, from that location. God's going to use Encounter Church. I know I'm getting a little bit fired up right now on this podcast, but bear with me a little bit, okay? But God's going to use us to take that building. We're going to renovate that building. We're going to make it useful for young families to come and to be encouraged, to be strengthened, and to serve those younger families in our community. It's going to happen, period. There's no question mark there. I mean, how? We don't have all the answers right now. We've already got started with a lot of the renovations, and in fact, we just got through with an asbestos abatement, which was something we had to get done to be able to do some of the renovations in the building. But we are going to bring transformation to that region. We are going to bring light into the darkness. I promise you, families are going to be restored. Drug addicts are going to be delivered. Alcoholics are going to be delivered. I mean, the hungry are going to be fed. The homeless are going to be helped, my friend. We're going to make a difference from that facility. There's no question about it. But, and again, not building ourselves up, but just talking about a mental attitude. There are some that might look at that and say, can't happen. Can't happen. Won't happen there. But friends, we're going to. Period. It's just going to happen. And can't be stopped. And so all of that, what I'm saying is, how you see things is how you do things. And I believe that really, really, I mean, I get a little bit fired up, friends, but I hope it encourages you. Because, friends, you don't have to look at those situations that you see as obstacles and see them as something that paralyzes you, that stops you, that you can't go any further. No, you can press beyond. Press beyond it. Say, no, you're going to move. Obstacle, you are going to move. You're going to move. And it's all about our mental attitude. It's all about when we see that obstacle, however it happens, we're going to go through it. You're going to move. We're going to get beyond you. I mean, and that, how you see things is how you do things. And so, friend, I want to encourage you, because I believe, we have a purpose as a church family. We're called to bring hope, health, and healing to a hurting world. Now, tell me something. How can you bring hope, health, and healing to a hurting world unless you get around the hurting? You got to, so many times, now I guess I am preaching. So many times we want the hurting to come to us. We've got to go to the hurting, my friend. And that's what we're called to do as a church family. And really, and if you're not a person of faith, please hear the message that I'm trying to share here. And if you are a person of faith, let me encourage you, no matter what the obstacle looks like out there, no matter what's going on, it can be done with God's help and with your participation and you giving it everything that you've got. Friend, I want you to know nothing's impossible with God. But Jesus also said, nothing is impossible to those that believe. Hey, I believe. We're going to do it. We're going to make a difference. God's going to use us to go into that part of town, into that piece of property that's been given to us, into those buildings that we're renovating, and we're going to touch the children. We're going to touch the youth. We're going to touch the young families. We're going to reach out and touch the older generation. We're going to touch the homeless, friend. I promise you, there's going to be drug addicts that are delivered, alcoholics delivered. There's going to be prostitutes that come to know Jesus Christ as their personal Lord and Savior, and they're going to leave that life of prostitution, and they're going to serve Jesus Christ with their life. I just believe that with all of my heart. You see, friends, how you see things is how you do things. And I want to encourage you, get a fire inside of you. I'm talking to somebody right now, the dream has died inside you. Are you you think it's dead or the fire's gone out. But I promise you, there's still a little ember that's burning there. Allow what I'm saying to speak to that into you, that fire in you. Get your fire back, my friend. Get that purpose back. Reconnect with what God's called you to do and step out and believe. And He's going to provide, my friend. But I promise you, and let me just say these, and I'll wrap up this. Man, I didn't get to say near everything I wanted to, but I believe I'm making my point here. How you see things is how you do things. What is your perception today about life? Man, and again, this is in no way building myself up, but if I told you everything that my wife and I have been through in the almost 44 years of marriage, wow. I'm sorry, almost 43. I was thinking in my mind, it's almost 43 years of marriage. We've been married 42 years. It'll be 43 in June. If I told you everything that we've been through, wow, it would blow your mind. In our marriage, in our ministry, even with our money, that we've had some real obstacles. But I want you to know that you can pick yourself up and you can move forward, my friend. God is there to help you, but you have to make a decision as well. You have to cooperate with Him. And how do you see you? And in wrapping up this podcast, and I'll be coming to you again. We'll probably be talking a little bit more about this, how you see things, how you do things. I can still remember, my wife and I stepped out to plant a church, and man, it just failed miserably. We lost everything. And I don't have time to describe it all to you, but we lost everything. And it took a good 5 years to rebuild. And it was 5 years before we stepped back into leading another church. But this is something that God spoke to me during that time. He said, now you've been through failure, but now I've got to get failure out of you. And man, that just resonated in my heart. Because God could not send us into this new future that He had for us, this next chapter of our life, with a failure mentality. We couldn't be carrying that mentality, because how you see things is how you do things. And we couldn't see ourselves as failures. And He had to get that failure mentality out of us. And so let me just encourage you today, wherever you find yourself at, be encouraged. God's got a great plan. God's got a future for you. But you've got to agree with Him. You've got to get in step with Him. You've got to allow Him to work in your life. Give yourself to Him every day and let Him change the way you think. I promise you, friend, man, the rest of your life can be the best of your life if you'll just allow God to do that in your life. And then also, I've got to say it, you've got to work with Him to see it done, all right? Because how you see things is how you do things. Man, I hope you've been encouraged with the I Encourage podcast today. See you next week, friend.